Well, Martin, how's the mood been this week? Obviously, it's a massive result for you last weekend against Salford. Has it been relief in the dressing room? Has it been better this week?
Yeah, it's been a good week, really good week. We've obviously everybody was happy after the game. I don't think anybody was surprised within our group after such a good performance against Grimsby, where we played very well in the FA Cup against a team from the division above. It wasn't a great last 15 minutes, but 2-0 down in the FA Cup. It's probably understandable that you're going out. So yeah, it has been a good week. And then a new signing with Alfie coming in. So that's been good. Charlie Carter can now start at last his rehab. So that's another good thing. Yeah, all round it's been it has been a good week. Training's been bright. Training's been short and sharp. Obviously, new player coming in. Loz's operation's gone really well yesterday. We've had a brilliant time at the hospice, meeting the volunteers, the staff, and the patients. We all really enjoyed that. And then going to the hospital, meeting parents, meeting friends. Lucky enough to treasure meeting young people. Some of them very poorly, some of them hopefully hoping to get home for Christmas, and then some of them maybe not so lucky. So it's been a good all-round week of emotion, bringing everybody back down to the ground and realising how lucky we all are with some of the difficult situations that are going on around the football club when you're visiting hospices and special units in children's hospitals. It kind of maybe puts it all into perspective just a little bit, and it has really been a good week.
So obviously, I mean, it's been a hard couple of weeks, I think, hasn't it, for you on the pitch? Does it feel like that's kind of coming to an end?
It ain't been a hard couple of weeks. Flipping out, we just won our first game in the league for God knows how long. So it's been a great week. I've had a quality streak every day.
I mean, obviously, prior to that win, it was quite difficult. Following that, does it feel like now light at the end of the tunnel almost?
Well, we'd only lost 1 in 13. So, and that was against a team from the division above. So it's not as if we're playing rubbish. And I'm sitting here and going, oh my God, it's terrible. And it's the end of the world. You know, some of the performances away at Fylde and away at Billericay in the two cup games, we've shown enough promise to show we're going in the right direction. But I think everybody was on side to say that they've been given everything they've got. They're fit, they're well organised, but perhaps there's certain areas where we haven't been good enough. And I held my hands up, and I was the first to say, I brought the players in. Don't blame anybody else. I brought them in. And some of them ain't been good enough, and they haven't been. And now we've got some fresher, younger legs in. I suppose we're sticking Levi into the team. I think perhaps I left it too long to put him in the team. But I think with the team not winning and the crowd not too happy, it's probably not the best time to put a 17-year-old in your team. I suppose when you look back and you think he was 18 when he played last week against Salford, you know, you'd probably have to be mad to give someone their debut in a game like that. And I did.
And he came through that with flying colours, a brilliant assist and, a good all-round performance from Levi on the day as well.
Yeah, he's a great lad. He's certainly one for the future. He's going to get better and better. He trains with us every day. He works with the first team players now every day, and he's getting better and better. And he's certainly given us a lot of food for thought, hasn't he? He's exciting when he goes on. Some of the bits and pieces he does are just out of this world. They're from they're just different class. And there are moments, which is understandable, where you could say he's perhaps a little bit naive, but that's part of the beauty of him. No one knows what he's going to do, nor do I, nor does he.
So, the new signing this week, Alfie Beeston, what's he going to bring to the team?
Good footballer. He lives round here. Good player. Good signing. Well, I hope he's a good signing. It's a good player.
And and Kiwambia's loan extended. Obviously 2 goals for him last week, so you must be pleased with his progress, pleased enough to give him more time.
Yeah, Doncaster are happy with what he's been doing. They've been watching him and they've been pleased, what we've been doing with him, which is important about building these relationships with these clubs round here. Because for us to make a comeback, we're going to have to get some help from these clubs to help cut our wage bill further. We're going to have to get some help from these clubs, and they're going to have to trust us trust me, I suppose, to look after their players when they're here. Clubs, there's loads of clubs within an hour and a quarter of this where we are now, and I didn't use it enough last summer because I didn't have the knowledge. I've got the knowledge now, and it'll put me and recruitment in a far better place, and I feel much more. I've got a lot of knowledge now of everybody within an hour, and they're young players, and we're going to need them to help us reduce the wage bill and to help us make a comeback.
The news announced last night as well, the new chief exec being appointed to the club. Can you see yourself working closely with him, or are your roles kind of separate and working on separate things?
Well, he's not going to start till Monday, so no doubt we'll get to meet up on Monday. I think it's vitally important that we work very close. Vitally important. I didn't find out till last night, so it's absolutely vital on and off the field. I've said this the last couple of weeks. On and off the field, the supporters, the players, the staff, and everybody is united as one. It's got to be. It can only be the way for the best of the club going forward. Can only be. Hopefully, the supporters are happy that there's been a change. I'm well aware that the supporters have wanted a change. They've got a change, and hopefully now the supporters will get behind him. The supporters have been brilliant to the team for the last couple of games, without a shadow of a doubt. And the players have responded. Well, I think it's the players, to be fair, that have lifted the supporters. That's how it's worked, I think. And so the supporters have followed the players, and that's all working pretty well. And now off the field, you can see it. There's been a change, which all the supporters have wanted. So now I would have to say to the supporters, they've got to get behind Graham, and we will work our best together. The very, very best we can both do to pull it all together and make something happen. Because, I think change had to be made, has been made, and now hopefully we can go forward. We've got to make this successful, haven't we?
And do you have a message to fans? Obviously, there's been talk the last couple of weeks of a little gathering maybe taking place outside the ground before tomorrow's game. Do you have a message to those fans who are maybe planning on taking part in that on the day?
What do you mean by a little gathering?
Well, there's apparently going to be a demonstration against the running of the club taking place tomorrow afternoon.
Well, they're entitled to do that, aren't they? Mr. Allen owns the football club, but it's their club. Football clubs are always the supporters' club, and I'm sure everybody has to respect that. But there has been a change this week. There has been. He has implemented a change, and he's acted swiftly to the supporters' unhappiness, and he's put something in place now for change, and now we've got to let that change take place. And if supporters, the people that pay, and I've said this about things on the field, if you're not happy and you pay your money, you can shout what you like. If you're not happy and you pay your money, you can go inside the ground, outside the ground, or anywhere you like. You're entitled to your opinion. As long as there's no trouble and no hassle, then in the positions that we're in, and myself is included in that, then people can say, right, like you lot all do, whatever they like about us, because unfortunately, or fortunately, and I'm lucky, I'm in a position of responsibility to all of you to make the club good.
On to matters I'm sure you'll be more keen to focus on. Basford United this weekend, just down the road from down in Nottingham. What do we know about them, and fixture, of course, maybe with a bit of a local edge to it as well? Yeah,
local derby, innit? It's only just under an hour away. Managed by Martin Carruthers. He was a coach at Notts County when I was there. He worked really hard in the community. He was a good bloke around the stadium whenever I did see him. Always a good time for him. He was bright, bubbly. He's an infectious character. And at that time, he was doing our football in the community. and he also was working out coaching and managing and doing his stuff, and it was always clear that he with his high drive, high energy. Of course, he was a good footballer and a good professional. That doesn't mean you're a good manager, of course. You know, I've sat here every blinking Friday. Every game we play on a Saturday is going to be a tough game, and you know, we've got to be at our very best to replicate how we played last week against Salford. A debut for Alfie tomorrow coming into the team. I think if the supporters are outside, what time is it they're doing it? They're chatting or meeting up?
I think 2:30.
At 2:30, and then hopefully they can do their bit and they can do what they need to do, or do what they feel they need to do. And then I'm hoping they'll come into the stadium with more infectious enthusiasm and the love of their club, and come out and support the players, because that's what I'm really hoping, that they come through and help our players and enjoy watching our team play.
And is the FA Trophy a competition you're taking seriously? I mean, or is it going to be main focus on the league, or is it something that you want to progress through and maybe get a shot at Wembley?
I was asked last Saturday night what sort of team we would play in this FA Trophy, and I sort of looked at the person and said, I thought he was talking French. If there's anybody got any idea that we're going to play a weakened team, you must be absolutely flipping joking. We play our best team, and we need to win as many games as we possibly can to bring some happiness back to Chesterfield Football Club. I went to see the final of the FA Trophy last year at Wembley Stadium, and I want to go to the final again at Wembley Stadium. I have never led a team out at Wembley Stadium, and to see 30,000 Chesterfield supporters at Wembley Stadium would be awesome. From the doom and gloom and the crap that everybody's had, if we can manage to put something together now and get a run together. Don't forget, we've played against all the decent teams and none of them have been better than us. None of them. None of them have been better. We could make something happen and still make this season a good season.
Martin, just start with a squad update. Any of the players that have been out injured on the verge of coming back?
No, Curtis Weston has got a tight hamstring after last week's game. I must stress it's only tightness. He's not pulled his hamstring. So he could have a fitness test this morning to see if he could play on Saturday. But I've kind of made that decision already. We've signed another midfield player this week, so now that presents an opportunity for him. Curtis and Smith last week and the week before against Grimsby were a terrific partnership. They played very well as a pair. We've also got Joe Rowley coming back from suspension, so we're starting to look like now we've got a bit of a younger, pacey squad, if that makes sense.
It does. So with Curtis, it's probably going to be a case of not risking him if he's a doubt.
Yeah, I think it's best. He's played every game, so I think it's probably best for Curtis to rest this weekend. He'll not rest. He's got a rehab, and he's got a gym work, and he's got to strengthen every area around that hamstring. I think it's our first soft tissue injury, so we're very, very pleased about that. And it's not actually an injury; it's tightness rather than it's gone. So I think that's the right decision.
Busy week with Doncaster Rovers this week. A couple of bits of news. Alex Kawamia extending his loan and bringing in Alfie Beeston. Talk us through those signings and what you hope to get from them.
I spoke to the Doncaster manager on the Friday before the Salford game. So we'd already made the agreement, if you like, that he was going to extend his loan. And then during that conversation, he said, "Well, you also want to have a little look at Alfie Beeston." Carl's already seen their reserves twice. I've seen them once, and Carl's always really liked him. I think he's a good player. And when Grant said he's available if we want him, it was a quick couple of phone calls, and got that one agreed pretty quick.
It sounds like Doncaster are quite excited about it. Grant McCann telling us yesterday he thinks that Alfie could tear up the National League. So is he a player that the Spire fans can really look forward to seeing?
I think everyone has to take it in their stride. There's been a lot of players that I've signed here that I've been really excited about, and quite a few of them haven't worked. So I think let's just take it all in our stride and take one step at a time. He's looked good in training. He done very well last season. Let's just take it all in our stride, one step at a time. He'll play tomorrow, and I want him to play well, of course.
Gives you good options now up front as well. You obviously brought Jordan Hallam in recently, gave Levi a start last weekend. How's he reacted this week? How's he been after that first start? I mean, a big moment for him as a person.
Who?
Levi.
Levi, he was late for training. Levi's the most laid back, carefree, stress-free character. He walks in slow motion, he lives in slow motion. He don't feel no stress, no hassle, no pressure. He shrugs it all off, he takes it all in his stride, and then when he goes on the pitch, he's electric. He's always late. He's always late. But every time he's late, he has to clean my boots, so I don't mind him being late. As long as he keeps playing on the pitch like he is. He's not always late, but he has been late a few times, and he only lives over the road. But that's part of the beauty of him, to be fair. It's part of the beauty of his character and his personality and how he is. He's stress-free. He goes out and plays stress-free. He's young, he's free spirit, he's free. He won't know about any takeover, any demonstrations, takeovers, CEOs, and he don't care about none of it. I think he sleeps most of the day, plays on his Xbox, just comes training late, goes out to train, great in training. And that's part of the beauty of him, and that's why I gave him a debut. He'll be involved tomorrow. I'm not sure he's going to start tomorrow, but he'll be involved tomorrow because he also is a valuable person to bring off the bench for the last half an hour. He's a valuable person. When the game opens up, he's deadly.
Are some of those qualities things that you'd like, he can rub off on other people, particularly the stress-free nature and the way he approaches his football?
Yeah, very much so. He hasn't got an opinion. He doesn't. If you ask him to go in behind and keep threatening to go in behind, that's what he does. And he's learning about all the other stuff tactically when you're winning, where you want that second centre forward to play to help your team when you're winning. He's learning all that, but we practiced all that on Tuesday. But he absorbs it. He doesn't just walk round with his head down and his eyes closed and his ears with his fingers in his ears. He's a sponge for information. He listens, he learns, he's bright. When you're talking to him, he looks you in the face. And he don't walk round the corner saying, we should be doing that, we should be doing this. He gives you that freshness. And, there's only one singer and there's only one song, and that's mine.
What's the emotions been like this week after the Salford game last weekend? Has it been mainly relief? Is it, do you feel it's been sort of justification for the performances that your team's been putting in?
They've been doing all right. To the outside world, they wouldn't believe what it was like within our dressing room, within our squad, within our staff, down this end of the corridor. We do our utmost, or I do my utmost, to take the pressure off of them. Last Friday before Salford in here, we had shepherd's pie on a Friday, and the players sort of looked at it and thought, what's going on? Where's all the pasta? Where's all the spaghetti and all that stuff? And then before they was allowed to eat their dinner, they all had to sing a song to wit, and they were singing in here Jingle Bells before they were allowed to eat the food. So my office is just round that corner, and all I could hear in my office, and I was sat there just listening, smiling, and thinking, oh my God, if all the supporters could see us now and could see this, the supporters are worried and stressed and unhappy and all that, and the whole squad of players and the staff were singing Jingle Bells, I knew we'd win at that moment. I knew we'd win. The players have been absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Their commitment, their energy, focus, determination. There's been some games, and I know the supporters are unhappy that we haven't won, but there's some games where we've been very, very unlucky not to win. And the performances at times have been very, very good. And some of the games against the better teams, we've more than matched them. We've been better than them, but just not been able to beat them. But we've played very, very well. And now we can see the changes that are happening within the group, and some of the periphery players that are going to be allowed to leave. One's gone. We've got another, hopefully, that's going to be gone this weekend. And these younger boys coming in give it a different dynamic. The players loved it last weekend after the game. That moment after the game when all the supporters were electric. And it don't matter whether you've played in 20, 30, 40,000 or 90,000. That feeling at the end of last Saturday's game where the Chesterfield supporters at last were happy, gave the players such an amazing buzz, and then going off to the hospice and the hospital in Chesterfield this week, it really has brought it home to all of us how lucky we all are to be doing the job that we're doing, and reinforcing the messages that we've put out there that if we do well, this place is going to be packed. This place is going to be absolutely bombing. I'm not sure I should use bombing. This place is going to be absolutely... it's going to be amazing, isn't it? It's going to be amazing.
So with all that happening off the within the dressing room and the victory last weekend, do you feel that this week as a whole, with all those activities, the victory can be a springboard for the rest of your season?
Well, I know all those old cliches. Now we've turned the corner. This is the springboard. It's not a light switch. It ain't just a click of your fingers and it all's going to change. To bring in a couple of young forwards plus Levi has certainly given us a different dynamic within the group, and you can see the energy levels of our team last Saturday. They run miles on their training things that they have put in their back of how many miles they run. They ran miles. It was the outstanding effort on their part. We need to keep it going. The consistency now of consistent performances. We didn't play well against Bromley, but most of those other games in that run, we've played well. Bromley was the fourth game in 10 days after being away at Billericay and away at Eastleigh, and then to play Bromley. It was a bit of a flat performance, I agree, but we didn't lose. And it took an enormous amount of courage to get that penalty in the last few minutes. And so I'm not going to say it's the turning point, but it's step by step, and we're moving clearly in the right direction.
There's been lots happening off the field this week. There's obviously a £1 million loss announced, new chief executive last night, fan sort of protest planned for tomorrow. Does all this show that the difficult circumstances in which you've had to try and develop things in training and on the pitch? No,
none of that affects me. None of that affects the players. All that would be if I said, "Oh yeah, it's terrible. The fans are unhappy," and the figures from the accountants and all that sort of stuff. I don't. Someone asked me, I think it was a reporter asked me earlier in the week, about all this sort of stuff. Gordon Bennett. My work is on my players. My work is on my staff, and my work is on myself. I have to do what I have to do, and other people have to take care of everything off the field, down the other end of that corridor and upstairs, and in the offices or banks, or they have to all get on with it. And my job and my responsibility to all the supporters is to get a good team on that pitch and get that team winning and getting this place like it was last Saturday. That's my job, and that is my job.
Has it been hard sort of making the most of the budget that's available to you? Because I know you've had to reduce the wage bill, but still at this level it is a decent amount of money to be playing with.
Well, we played against a team last week that had probably treble our budget, and we smashed them 2-0. They had players playing out there that were on thousands and thousands of pounds a week. I certainly don't come in afterwards and say, oh, well, it's nothing to do with the budget. My budget at Barnet was virtually zero, and we always managed to put good teams together, and I managed to find good players. One of them was just 5 yards down the road here at Alfreton, when I nicked John Akinde out of there for nothing. He's turned out to be a player that's, I thought at one point was valued about £1 million from nothing at Alfreton. So I can find players for nothing. I can find players like I always have done through my career. I spoke earlier about the contacts with football clubs within an hour of this football club, and now I have the knowledge of all those players. Cole Muggleton, Witt and myself have been out and about non-stop finding players from those clubs. So we are now in a position where we can get the decent younger players to come and play for Chesterfield to help cut the wage bill. And then, of course, we've got free transfers from people that don't live too far from here, that don't want to get on a train and go back home. We're in a good position now, and you can see it shaping up.
Do you hope that the appointment of a new chief executive will give something to the fans and hopefully give a bit of stability to the club now?
Well, the supporters haven't been happy. So Mr. Allen and my boss have acted. Change has been made. Mr. Graham Bean starts on Monday. I'll sit down with him, no doubt, probably speak to him over the weekend. And we will work together, we will do well, and we will make sure that we get things into practice and into place that is going to be good for the supporters. And hopefully now the supporters have seen there's been a change. It's never going to make everybody happy. I mean, some people just moan about everything, don't they? You know, that's life. I've got a next door neighbour down south, and I cut my edge down to 6 feet, which he asked for it to be cut down by 6 feet. And he came out and he said it's a centimetre too low. And I said, you what? He said it's a centimetre too low. And I said, I've paid for that, and I've also done a lot of it myself. It ain't a massive garden, you can imagine. I ain't got a little garden. I said, mate, it's taken me half a day to do that. He said it's a centimetre too low. It's my neighbour. I took a deep breath and said, okay, have a lovely day, bye-bye, and walked off. And I thought, you can't please everyone. You're never going to make everyone happy. I do try my best to make everyone happy. I do my best to make my players happy, my staff happy. I do my best for all our supporters. There's always going to be some people that are going to complain. Change has been made. And now, you know, I've never one to celebrate change. I always say take a step back and now let's see how it evolves and see how it all works. And hopefully we've got to make this club successful again. We've got to. And hopefully with Graham Bean and myself, the staff, the supporters, the players, we can all sort of get together, all of us get together like we have done the last couple of weeks. Grimsby was the same. And then get together like this, and we've got to try and pull it together.
How much would winning the FA Trophy make you happy?
Me? Me at Wembley.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine it? No team in this division has been better than us. We didn't play well in a couple of games and we were crap, but we can beat them teams. How much would it make me happy? Oh my God. I suppose you're hoping I'm going to say something mad. Don't know. You can't explain it. 30,000 Chesterfield supporters at Wembley Stadium, and a return to the Football League, and that'll be my last, and I'll quit.
Honestly?
A return to the Football League and winning at Wembley Stadium, and I'll quit for sure. happy. And then I'll go and cut my edge.
Basford United, a few thoughts on them this weekend. What kind of challenge are you expecting?
We've watched their videos of their last couple of games. Very well organised. Former footballer who was a good footballer. Took up an early career in coaching. I worked with him at Notts County, where he was working in the community schemes, and hard worker, dedicated, highly driven in football coaching. And he also had a team outside and working away from the football club. So you can imagine the hours that he was working, God bless him. So I look forward to meeting him tomorrow. They're very well organised, very good on set plays. Two very good attacking fullbacks. They've got a very good centre forward. They're a decent team. Decent game, hard game for us. And, for us at the moment, every game's an hard game. So we've got to be absolutely on our best.
And I imagine for momentum's sake, after last weekend, it'll be key for you to just keep that rolling into the Leyton Orient game next week.
Yeah, keep the standards going. There's been no mention of that game next week. Everything's only focused on this game. Someone suggested that you might play a weaker team. I don't think I've got a weaker team. We've got to play every player to their maximum at the moment and turn these draws that we've been having into victories. And once we start doing that, hopefully we can bring some happiness on the field. And the supporters have had their wish for change off the field, which they've got. And now we've got to continue our good work on the field with a little bit of an improvement, just to turn those draws into wins. And then hopefully we can make Chesterfield, we can make these people happy again.
Brilliant. Cheers, Martin.
All right, pleasure.
How's it going getting players out who've been on the transfer list?
Not easy. We've been willing to do deals on the terms of their contracts to help them get out and play. But as yet, we've got another one that's pending at the moment. And apart from that, there's been nothing else.
And what about incomings after Alfie Beeston? Anything else likely in the next week or two?
No, I don't think so. No, I can't see that happening. We've got cover in all areas. We've got cover right through the team. It's a sort of size that I like it, that I can make sure they're all happy. For the senior players that are on the periphery, I will sit down and explain to them, but they already know anyway. They still train with us. They'll still be with us. And if I need to play them, like you saw with Robbie Weir went on last week, and he was superb when he went on. And on Tuesday night when we played Sheffield FC, the commitment of the senior players that all played in that game was spot on. So they'll keep doing that. I'll keep looking after them. If they need to go into the team, they go into the team. I have no fears or worries about that. But I am going to be working with the other group, so they may just be on the periphery, which is probably normal.
Bennett of Sheffield United that you were in for on loan, is that one dead now?
We've had a midweek report. He's had another flare-up of his injury, and I think it's at least another 2 weeks away. I wouldn't say it's dead, but that'd be disrespectful to him, but there has been a setback in his recovery.
Okay. And Callum Burton, when do you start to speak to Hull about his extension?
About 2 months ago.
Okay, so is it close, or is it a possibility?
It's a possibility.
All right.
I've got to wait for Hull's decision on that. We have made inquiries to have him here till the end of the season. He's not sure which way it's all going either. He would like to stay, and he's really enjoying himself, and he's loving playing every game. But we're in Hull's hands, and we have to respect their decision. So obviously we're in a position where we've got to look around and see what's out and about, and weigh up our options and costs as we go through.
With Callum, we've all seen his shot stopping has been excellent. Are there areas of his game that you feel he's working particularly hard on here, or getting the chance to develop here?
He works at Hull 1 day a week, and he works with us 3 days a week. So he's always with Cole Mulgerton. He's always with Barry Richardson over at Hull. He's a good friend of mine. I know how hard he works the goalkeepers over there. Cole's a little bit similar here. Yes, there are areas of his game that he needs to improve, but I would say that every player's got areas and points of their performance that they need to improve, whoever they are. So every player and member of staff or journalist, we've always got things we needed to improve day in, day out. And there's no one that works harder than Callum. He thrives on hard work, and there's no doubt that in a couple of years' time he will be playing at a decent level because he's a brilliant shot stopper.